Starting with the measurements, we shall need our waist circumference, full length of the skirt, and then we shall need the front length. So with my waist measurements, let me say I'm going to be using 11.5. I'll add 1 inch for the front, which I'm going to be using for the bottom placket. So I'll add 1 inch and to make it 12.5, and I'll divide 12.5 by 6.28. For the full length, you're going to measure from the waist to where you want your skirt to end. And then for the front length, you're going to measure from your waist to where you want the front to end. Like this. Then I folded it again like this. Now in this corner, we are going to mark our waist measurements. So like we said, for example, if your waist is 11.5 and we add the 1 inch seam allowance for the front, making it 12.5 divided by 6.28. And the answer you get, that's what we are going to mark over here. You're going to mark it off from here. So mine I got 2 inches. So I'm going to mark from here. I'm going to mark 2 inches. All around it like this. So then after you're going to, from here, I finished connecting the dots together. From here, you're going to, on this side, you're going to mark the measurements where you want the center front to end. So you're going to go ahead and mark it out. And the same measurement, the measurements here should be the same measurements on this other side. Because I want this whole side to be the same as this other side over here, this is about 7.5. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 7.5 this side. And then we're going to cut it out. Oh, before we cut it out, since we are going to put a waistband, we are going to, on the waistline that we created, we are going to mark 1/2 inch up, just like this. So that means when we are cutting, we shall cut from the 1/2 inch that we have went up here. So we're going to go ahead and cut out. Then we shall open it. Now you can see it's a triangle. I'm going to place it back like this, and then I'm going to split up the center, which is going to be the center front, with just one of them. You don't want to split both of these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do like that, then split up the center. So now at this stage, you're going to go ahead and measure, get our full length of the skirt. Then when we take off the front, that will be the remaining piece that is going to go down over here. But since this area is not as long as this area, we're going to measure this by itself. We're going to get the measurements this side as well. Then we're going to get the full length and subtract of this, full length and subtract of this. I have this fabric that it's going to be my bottom. So you can just use the same fabric, but I just want to show you so that you can see, you can be able to tell the difference. When we get the full length measurements and took off the center measurements, and we took off the front center measurements that we have over here, we have about 10 inches remaining. So that means to get to our full length we need 10 inches. Then we shall go ahead and mark it over here, but since we need seam allowance to connect these two, and here on the bottom we shall add about 1 inch. But since this other corner, we say this from here to here, it's not the same measurements, that means the end of our fabric. So I have this fabric before we finish. So I have this, I got these measurements and multiplied it. You can multiply it by 2 or by 3 depending on how much fullness you want this to be. So I got this about twice of this and some couple of more inches. So when we measured this side, it had like about 7 inches remaining to make it to the full length. When we took off the full length from here, it's remaining like 7 inches. So we're going to go ahead and mark on the end 7 inches. But since we need seam allowance to connect both of these, we shall go ahead and add about 1 inch, and then we are going to connect this to this side, and this is how it's going to look, because the other side is much shorter than this end. And now this is for one side. Then make sure you cut out 4 pieces for the bottom, this side, front and back, and they all should be the same equal, because all the sides, they're all equal. So you cut out 4 pieces, and then before you attach the bottom, you want to sew your pocket, your bottom placket, and then you add your waistband as well. Then you put them together on the sides, and make sure you mark the center before gathering them as well, so that you can know where your center is. Then you go ahead and gather them, and then you will put the sides together. Then you attach them to them. And when you sew, make sure you sew this corner nicely so that it can lay flat. And that's it. If you put on the other side, it will look much better than how it is right now without the other side. And if you want the belt, you can just make the slash by itself when it's separate, or you can put it when it's attached on your waistband. So you can see, you can attach the belt, the slash, on the waistband if you want, or you can just sew a long slash. And this is how it looks like. I didn't have enough fabric, so that's why this side part looks like this. I wish I could count this time, but it don't. So don't forget your buttons. So you can see. If we had cut this on this same level, one side would have been shorter than the other. And it will be more flowy if you use soft material like this. It will be more flowy and nice.